So I just watched this movie called Challengers, and I kind of thought I was about to watch a sports movie. Some tennis competition, maybe a couple of training montages. The average sports movie likes. Instead, I watched two dudes emotionally spiral for like 15 years because of one extremely competitive girl called Tashi. And quite honestly, the tennis might have been the least stressful part of the entire movie, because once you really watch what's happening, you realize this movie is less about tennis and more about competition, ego, and just people absolutely refusing to let each other go. And I think a lot of men actually missed a few lessons in this movie. And I think lesson one is some people just love competition. The first thing you notice about Zendaya's character in this movie, Tashi, is that she doesn't just like tennis. She's obsessed with it. Not the sport itself, really, but more so the aspect of competing, winning, dominating, and just outplaying her opponent 24/7. She looks at tennis the way a chess grandmaster probably looks at the board. Every piece of the game is just strategy. Everything is psychological. And the funniest part is she kind of treats the two guys the same way. Like she's coaching them, manipulating them somewhat, even sometimes motivating them, all at the same time. At certain points in the movie, you start realizing she's not just in the relationship. She's literally managing the entire dynamic of the throuple, whatever they had going on, you feel me? And it's like she just became a tennis coach accidentally and just became the main character. And lesson two is just like, bro, talent versus discipline. And this movie really shows really well the difference between natural talent and discipline. One of the guys is like ridiculously talented, Zweig, like the kind of player who can hit like crazy shots without even really trying. And the other guy is more so a little bit intense. He's more focused. He's more obsessed with just grinding and becoming a better player day by day. He's like your average developmental player. And this is something you see everywhere in real life. There's always the naturally gifted person, like i.e. Messi, and then we have the hard worker Ronaldo. We see this in every sport, actually. And sometimes the person who just works harder ends up catching the person with the more talent. You feel me? Because talent is great and all, but talent plus laziness is like having Wi-Fi with no password. Eventually, everyone just catches up to you. Another lesson we can all learn from this is their male rivalry. Blah, blah, rivalry is actually real. Like this movie is literally about two guys that they're technically friends, but they're also competing with each other. Every match, every interaction that they have, every moment that they have with the girl with Tashi, they're continuously vying for her love and attention and her support. Basically, it's like their entire relationship depends on whether they're winning or losing compared to the other guy. And the funniest thing about it is that most men do this in real life all the time without noticing. Not always in the dramatic, we're playing against each other in tennis type of ways, but it's more subtle, okay? At first, it's just like, oh, let's go work out. 2 months later, someone's like, so you're still benching 185? I'm already at 225. You feel me? And suddenly, it's no longer just hanging out and working out for your butt. It's not like, oh, we're going to go compete at the Olympics for like who can bench the most. Another lesson that's really important to learn from this movie was that Tashi was just playing the game the entire time. And like this is just where the movie gets kind of interesting, because while the other two guys are really just competing with each other for her love, Zendaya's character is also playing her own game, and she's very, very good at it. At multiple points in the movie, she basically has both guys emotionally tied to her. They're competing for her attention, her approval, her validation. Meanwhile, she's kind of just orchestrating the whole thing. And the crazy part is the guys are fully aware of this and they just let it happen, which creates this weird love triangle where no one really ever moves on, even though she ends up, I think, marrying one of the guys and has his daughter with Art. It was just super strange, and it's almost like the tennis match never ended from when they were kids. It just pauses every once in a while whenever the other guy comes back into the girl's life, and they just repeat the cycle all over again. Another lesson we could all probably learn from this is that ego makes people do ridiculous and dumb things, man. A really big theme in this movie is just the human ego. Because if these characters had slightly smaller egos, the entire story probably ends in like 25 minutes. But just because they don't, everything just becomes super personal. The matches between both dudes become emotional battles. Their relationships with Tashi become like competitions, and suddenly every decision that they make in the movie is driven by by their pride, basically. You feel me? Which, to be fair, is also very realistic. Ego has literally just built a lot of empires. Like you need to have a big ego to build empires and just be a conqueror. You feel me? But it has also ruined a lot of perfectly normal situations. And really, after watching challenges, like what really is the takeaway from the movie? Because if you just watch it as a messy tennis love triangle, you kind of miss the whole point here. And there are quite a few lessons a lot of men could take away from this. First of all, competition can push you to improve, but it can also fucking consume you. Both of these guys become better players because they were trying to do each other, but they also spend a lot of years and time stuck in the same rivalry instead of moving forward with their lives. The second lesson is do not ever let someone else control the entire dynamic of your life. Zendaya's character, Tashi, was clearly running the entire show for the entire game, and the reason she could do that is because both guys kept playing along. They knew what was going on, but they enjoyed the chase and fighting and vying for her validation. Okay. The third lesson I think we can all learn here is your ego will make you do stupid things. Okay. Most of the conflict in the movie exists because no one wants to be the one guy that has some self pride and just walks away. Okay. And the final lesson I think is probably just the hardest hitting one and the most important one. At some point, you have to decide whether you're playing your own game or someone else's. Because these two guys spent years trying to win a match and never really had a finish line because she was never going to pick either of them. She was never going to pick either of them. Okay? And honestly, I just think that was the real message of the movie. Sometimes the smartest move isn't winning the match at all. Sometimes it's realizing you don't have to keep playing the game. And that's all I got to say. Please give me a like and subscribe. And if there's any topics you want to see me talk about, leave in the comments. Thank you so much for watching. Bye bye.